I was 8 years old when I became a Christian. I can vividly remember going to vacation Bible school and Mr. Danny preached the gospel. And I remember riding home from church. I felt an overwhelming sense of I am a sinner and I need to be saved. And I made a profession of faith that next Sunday and was baptized. But it wasn't until I was about 22 years old that I really even had a reason to put my faith to work. I had faith in the Lord. I knew that He loved me. I loved Him. But nothing ever made me demonstrate that faith in a way that I had to when I was a young adult. Robert and I were going through premarital counseling. They asked, what do you think the purpose of your marriage is? And I, doing what I do, gave a very textbook, churchy, Sunday school answer. I said, oh, it's to further God's kingdom. It's to lead other people to Christ. Robert disagreed immediately. He said, I really think it's to mentor young couples. Like, we're getting married young. I think that God is calling us to mentor other young couples. But I married my high school sweetheart and got married in 2017, fresh out of college. I was still in grad school and he was new as a teacher. And I had a plan. I've always had a plan. I'm very type A. I'm very controlling. I like things to go my way. I thought that I was unstoppable and untouchable, especially when it relates to, oh, God's not gonna mess with my plan because it's so perfect. And I knew, okay, I'm gonna get married by the time I'm 22, and I'll give us about 2 years married, and then we're gonna start having babies because I knew exactly what I wanted. And things worked out. The Lord listened to me, or at least I thought He did. I did get pregnant. I mean, the same month I started trying to get pregnant, and I thought, wow, this is going exactly like I was planning. I was so excited. Robert was excited. We had told my parents and we told his family. Our siblings were told, and a week and a half later, we lost the baby. And I mean, that was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. And I, at that point, was faced with a choice. Do I get mad at God? Do I hate Him for this? Or do I use this and do something really good with it? And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, it was really easy to be mad. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? I had this planned out. It was written down in my calendar. I had highlighted it. I had shared it with Robert. Hey, we're trying to have a baby. We're gonna have a baby by May of 2020. I had planned it down to a T. I orchestrate things. I know what's supposed to be happening. And it wasn't what God wanted. And it's not what we needed. It's ultimately not what His plan was. And it was the best thing in the world. It was the hardest thing, but it was the best thing that could have happened to us, because that was the first time that I've really even had to put my faith in the Lord and His plan, and also that I've had to rely on somebody else to lead me. I've been a very independent, confident young woman my whole life because I grew up in the church and I was raised by very godly parents. I feel like I had a pretty well-established relationship with the Lord, so I was very hesitant to allow my husband to lead me because I'm hard-headed and I like things done my way. It allowed the two of us to see that God is in control and that ultimately He's got something planned for us, and if we allow Him to use us, it'll be better than we could have ever imagined. And if I had not had faith in Him, and if He had not had a perfect plan, which He always does, then we wouldn't have V, my almost 4-year-old son, and we wouldn't have Lily, my almost 1-year-old daughter. And it completely changed our marriage. And losing our first baby forced me to do that. I wouldn't be able to mentor other young girls that have gone through the same loss. The Lord knows so much more. I mean, I could not have orchestrated a better plan, but I thought that I could. And because of the fact that we lost our first child, it's opened the door for us to comfort others, love others in a way that the Lord has called us to love them. And I was very blessed to be surrounded by God-fearing people who love me and who poured love into me when I lost our first baby, and I am happy to be able to do that for other people. I've always said since having the miscarriage that if it's gonna happen to anyone, I'm okay that it's happened to me, because that just allows me to help other people that have struggled, and that's how it should be. I mean, you shouldn't have to do it alone. When you're struggling and you can have someone that knows that struggle the same way that you do, to talk to or to pray over you or to comfort you, it makes a world of a difference. Fast forward to where I am now, mother of 2. I see myself as being in a state of peace when we don't know what's gonna come next. There was a time where I, like I said, had to plan everything down to a T. My life, everything. It was in a calendar. I highlighted it. There were bullet points. There were plans on how to achieve it. Now I have an overwhelming peace about my future and our family's future. There's a lot of unknown, but I cannot describe the feeling of just comfort, knowing that no matter where the Lord takes us, as long as we're open and we are willing to let Him use us and to walk in the purpose that He has for us, that I'm going to be held, and we're going to be able to bless others if we just allow the Lord to use us. So I feel at peace knowing that I can't control tomorrow, and that's okay. There was a time where that would not have been okay. That was the moment that changed our entire trajectory of our life. All because my plan didn't work, but God's plan did.